Melnitsa, the Mammals. For the Mammals, 322 of 329, the best Americana bands and artists of all time, 31 of 81, the best old-time music bands/artists. Willie Nile, the Woolverstones, Passenger, the Woolverstones, John Prine. More John Prine, the best John Prine songs, 146 of 363 musicians who belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 752 of 1891, the greatest musical artists of all time. Runrig, Florence and the Machine. More Florence and the Machine, the best Florence and the Machine albums, ranked 106 of 602, the best female vocalists ever, 46 of 151, the greatest chick rock bands ever. Pete Seeger. More Pete Seeger, the best Pete Seeger albums of all time, 377 of 739, the best singers of all time, 180 of 265, ranked the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Bon Iver. More Bon Iver, the best Bon Iver songs, the best Bon Iver albums, ranked 211 of 595, American public figures who are national treasures. Neko Case. More Neko Case, 157 of 213, the best current female singers, 198 of 225, the greatest living rock songwriters. Sufjan Stevens, Ben Harper. More Ben Harper, the best Ben Harper songs, 459 of 816. These poetic geniuses wrote your favorite songs of all time, 325 of 542, the greatest guitarists of all time. Cat Power. More Cat Power, the best Cat Power albums, ranked 105 of 198, the greatest new female vocalists of the past 10 years, 949 of 1728, the best rock bands of all time. Iron and Wine. More Iron and Wine, the best Iron and Wine albums of all time, 73 of 559, the most hipster bands, 120 of 179, the best bands that are named after foods. The Kingston Trio, Andrew Bird, Richard Thompson, Ray Montagne, the Decemberists, Art Garfunkel. More Art Garfunkel, the best Art Garfunkel albums of all time, 80 of 316, the greatest singers of the past 30 years, 60 of 195, the greatest male pop singers of all time. Love. More Love, 227 of 279, The greatest American rock bands 187 of 221 bands/artists with only one great album. Fleet Foxes. More Fleet Foxes, the best Fleet Foxes albums, ranked 517 of 541, the greatest live bands of all time. The Mamas and the Papas. More The Mamas and the Papas, jaw-droppingly out-of-control stories from the Mamas and the Papas, the best Mamas and the Papas albums of all time. Noah and the Whale. More Noah and the Whale, 157 of 543, the best indie bands and artists, 24 of 180, the best indie folk bands and artists. Phil Ochs. More Phil Ochs, 370 of 525, which artist would you bring back from the dead to write one more song? 408 of 439 famous men you'd want to have a beer with. Sonny and Cher. More Sonny and Cher, 143 of 363 musicians who belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 113 of 295 the best duos of all time, 122 of 151, the greatest Czech rock bands ever. Patty Griffin. Patty Griffin. The Lumineers. More The Lumineers, the best bands like the Lumineers, the best albums by the Lumineers, ranked. Kate Bush. More Kate Bush, the best Kate Bush songs, the best Kate Bush albums of all time, 529 of 739, best singers of all time. Band of Horses. More Band of Horses, the best Band of Horses songs, the best Band of Horses albums, ranked. Indigo Girls. More Indigo Girls, the best Indigo Girls songs, the best Indigo Girls albums of all time, 288, 602, the best female vocalists ever. The Incredible String Band. Country Joe and the Fish. More 8 of 40, the best bands named after sea animals, 31 of 44, the best fish things that are not really fish. Richie Havens. The Irish Rovers. Or the Irish Rovers, 1144 of 1728, the best rock bands of all time, 25 of 97, the best Celtic bands and artists, 6 of 127, the best Irish folk bands/artists. Harry Chapin. Mumford and Sons. More Mumford and Sons, the best bands like Mumford and Sons, the best Mumford and Sons albums, ranked 181 of 461, the best current pop groups/singers. Jethro Tull. More Jethro Tull, the best Jethro Tull songs of all time, the best Jethro Tull albums of all time. Dan Fogelberg. More Dan Fogelberg, the best Dan Fogelberg albums of all time, 113 of 195, the greatest male pop singers of all time. Lovin Spoonful, Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell, the Avett Brothers. Or the Avett Brothers, the best Avett Brothers albums of all time, 307 of 816. These poetic geniuses wrote your favorite songs of all time. Leonard Cohen, Van Morrison, Jackson Browne, Tom McLean, Peter, Paul, and Mary, James Taylor. More James Taylor, the best James Taylor songs of all time, the best James Taylor albums of all time. Carole King, Cat Stevens, John Denver, America, Grateful Dead. More Grateful Dead, the best Grateful Dead songs of all time. Wild stories you haven't heard about the Grateful Dead. 119 of 1728, the best rock bands of all time. Jim Croce, Gordon Lightfoot. More Gordon Lightfoot, the best Gordon Lightfoot albums of all time. 160 of 739, the best singers of all time. 134 of 363 musicians who belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Buffalo Springfield. More Buffalo Springfield. 174 of 265 ranked the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. 109 of 263, the greatest classic rock bands. Neil Young. More Neil Young, the best Neil Young albums of all time. 16 interesting facts about Neil Young you may not know. The Byrds. Or the Byrds, the most fascinating facts you didn't know about the Byrds. Sweetheart of the Road, best Byrds albums of all time. Paul Simon. More Paul Simon, the best Paul Simon solo songs of all time, the best Paul Simon albums of all time. Bob Dylan. More Bob Dylan, the best Bob Dylan songs, the best Bob Dylan albums of all time. 388 of 1172, the best writers of all time. Simon and Garfunkel. More Simon and Garfunkel, the best Simon and Garfunkel songs, the best Simon and Garfunkel albums of all time.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.